Hey. What's good, everybody? Lovely Soul Empress here, coming to talk about this Uranus direct 27 degrees of Taurus. I think there's going to be a lot of energy moving and shaking. And we have talked about Uranus over the years quite a lot. And I feel like we're closing a chapter. What's good, Mel? We're going to be closing a chapter between now and the end of April. And we will not see Uranus and Taurus again in our lifetime. Okay? But I feel like, think of how your life has changed from 2018 when Uranus first entered Taurus. What are the experiences you had? You might have moved. First off, Uranus energy is a little bit cold and chaotic, and it promises change through chaos. And there's nothing stable about that. And Taurus is not about that life. Taurus doesn't like instability. Okay? I feel like this Uranus cycle in Taurus, regardless of what age Taurus you are, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, or wherever you may have it, Uranus came there to teach you how to be more flexible. What's good, entertain me? In addition to that, for everyone, wherever Uranus sits in your birth chart, whatever house it's in, that's what Uranus came to teach you about. So let's say if it's in your third house, it could have been in your communication, siblings, right? If it was in your fourth house, your home, second house, finances, first house, the self, or reinventing the self, right? 6, how you service people, who you should be servicing, right? 7, relationships, right? And you can, and I don't want to simplify it down to one word because each house has many aspects, but I'm giving you a way to kind of look at your own chart. Sorry, getting my headphone case out. Look at your own chart and see what's, where Uranus is sitting, with what sign and what house. And then, put that with where it is in Taurus now. And I bet you, fucking bet you, that you're going to be like, oh shit, that shit makes so much sense. So Taurus likes stability, and Taurus rules finances, love, stability, harvest, planting the harvest, right? Or planting the seed in the spring, but right? Abundance, right? So what areas did that hit for you? Right? Let's say you had it in Libra, but it's in what's good, no patience, but it's in I got ads, right? But it's in Taurus. So that could be like, maybe some chaos in relationships that fucked with your finances, right? A breakup or reinventing of yourself. And then you turn around and have to like go from 2 incomes to 1, right? And you could have rebirthed yourself, found a whole new friend circle, do all the things, love your new life. That doesn't mean that there wasn't chaos. It probably was the only way you could have got there. So I'm just giving you some examples, right? And we're not done because Uranus is going direct Well, it went direct, and then now it has to go all the way back into Gemini to complete this. We're at the 27th degree, and it's going to take a little bit. Okay? So come April 25th, then Uranus will step into Gemini. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, and we discussed, in depth, that there's a large history of revolutionary energy being present in Uranus's transit in Gemini every 84 years. And what we discovered was that in Uranus's final retrograde, into Taurus is usually the catalyst moment that brings about the revolution that happens in Gemini. So, heads on a swivel. We've seen a couple of things already come into play. These things could be unalivings of individuals, here that cause, a backlash to certain behaviors by certain entities. If you follow what I'm saying, that could be a catalyst, right? The Maduro, that could be a catalyst. Heard they up in Nigeria right now. That could be it. Listen, Iran, catalyst. Epstein, catalyst. I mean, pick one. Right? We got to get all the way. We got to get all the way to April 25th. We have on Valentine's Day, I believe Saturn touches back down. I'm just going to say the ones that I know. They might be switched up a little bit on the dates, but I think Saturn or Neptune goes in on Valentine's Day into Aries. One of the planets. One of the malefics. Right? And then on the 17th, we have is it the new moon or we have the eclipse. And then on the 20th, Saturn and Neptune will be, conjunct in Aries. Meaning that from now to the 20th, it's a little spicy. Okay, so let's look it up. The exact date, Saturn into Aries. Saturn into Aries, February 13th. Okay? Neptune might have went in already on or tomorrow. It went in on January 26th. So Saturn is going in the next couple of days, right? So we have that going on. Then, like I said, solar eclipse, February 17th. Okay. Now, why is this also important? Not only is it eclipse, not only is it when the axis moves in July, I believe, into North Node, we're getting a preview with this new moon energy. And so what energy you will be feeling around this is pretty much going to be the energy from here to 2028. It's the short-term assignment. Like I always tell you, if you want to know what your life mission is or where that direction lies, look at your North Node. If you want to look what the short-term 18-month assignment, look where the North Node is. Okay? So with this new moon, we're going to, have some feelings. And Spirit just showed me the Hangman card. Okay. So that is like getting that other perspective. Aquarian energy. We got a hell of a lot going on in Aquarius. Let's talk about that. So Mercury is in Aquarius. Venus is in Aquarius. The Sun is in Aquarius. Mars is in Aquarius. You see? So there's a lot of action. Pluto is in Aquarius, right? So, and they've been talking about how from the time which Aries goes back into, I should say, Saturn goes back into Aries next week on the 13th, from that point to the 20th, this energy hasn't really been felt in almost 6,000 years. So there's no one living who can really walk us through it. I feel like this is when they tell you, don't hold your breath, breathe through it, relax. Right? There's like this wanting to tense, yet as much chaos, as much as we have seen, we are safe. Right? And so you need to ask yourself, is the divine already not communicating something to you? I have moments where I see things that can be scary. And then I recognize that the divine is actually providing and is assisting my steps, guiding my steps. Okay? So we're going to take a look at what Spirit wants us to know. A lot of things have come up, and we have to be very careful how we speak now. But the epi, it's very strange because there's some things we spoke about back way when. There's some things that we spoke about. And I feel like, okay, I'm going to sound a little all over the place for a moment, but I feel like there's been moving of the timelines. Okay. And we've talked about, us remembering certain things from the past different than others, and if there's a timeline shift, and did Monopoly guy have the monocle? Yes, that, but on a larger scale. I started my channel and entertain me. You've been with me since just about the beginning. So let's think about this, okay? I started my channel May 1st, 2020. Okay? May 1st, 2020. Supposedly, Epi expired in 19. But I could have swore that there was a reading. Now, maybe he came up later. But I am going to talk about some things that I know we spoke about. It's just very weird to me because I could have swore we did a reading after he passed, but then how's that possible if it was 2019? So that's one. Two, one of the things that we absolutely talked about. Yes, he kept coming up, right? So definitely we had a conversation about, damn, it's going to be hard to, you know what I'm saying? But we had a conversation about the first wife and how weird that timeline shift happened for her. And I said then they not telling the truth. I also said then that Big Red, that it was Big Red sending a message, right? Allegedly, right? We also discussed how Diddy was the boss in his corner and how Epi was the boss in his, and how in every walk of life they would have a different person for that particular crowd. So Epi had connections with the Iron Fist, right? And connections with Big Red. And so I'm mentioning that because today it was announced that Poland and another country, forget the name of the other country, have launched separate investigations. Back to the astrology, look at the window that we're in. Something got to give when by the time Uranus leaves Taurus, right? So these two countries announced that they are starting independent investigations into the Epi because they believe that there was that Epi had a ring of blackmail that was done with through a honeypot for Big Red. And that makes sense because one hand washes the other. And if it's the Iron Fist and Big Red, and they're both seeing what they could do that would benefit them by having information on just about any fucking body they want, and if people were stupid enough to fall for it, then once you were in, you couldn't get out. right? Supposedly they approached Eminem and he knew that it was something shady and he bounced. And that's in the reports too. So maybe anybody that they found controversial, because remember back then, M was controversial, right? Right? So what were they trying to do? Get something compromising on him so that way he would have to play ball. Thank you, Spirit. Allegedly, they said they didn't do it through him. They got somebody else around him. Allegedly. That's why, someone has gotten quieter over the years. He's a very intelligent man and he recognized easier not to participate than to sell out. Anyway, my point here is, we're going to check some things, but my point here is that there is some kind of, and I said it also the other day, I was saying that there's like a lot of people involved in this, like everywhere, right? Spirit said there are wars that have been fought over this or will be. Okay. But this energy is going to bring a lot of shocking things. And there are certain individuals, both 1 and 2, and some others, but let's just talk about 1 and 2. They both have very, very, very serious placements that's going to be affected. Okay, they both have a lot of Leo energy, and that's the South Node. And somebody of prominence, if you know what I'm saying, was born like on an eclipse. And so this could be eclipsing somebody or the beginning of the eclipse. And being that somebody has already been said they can't even play golf anymore, the cases of other countries starting investigations is their way. Thank you. Is their way of forcing a switch. Okay? Forcing a switch. Why do I say that? Because they have skin in the game too. Right? They have skin in the game too. They have people they don't want revealed. But you know what all these places have in common? They want to get out from under the tyranny of a situation that is brought to them, sponsored by Big Red, but wielded by somebody else, right? And they would like to get out from under that, and the way they can do that without saying, hey, we need you to change your power head, is by being a little messy like that and causing investigations to put pressure to make the headlines last longer, by which helps number 2, who's also has a lot of Leo energy, that can make number 2 come to rise to power, whether it's naturally because somebody could be eclipsing, or because collectively the pressure and the ridiculous comments that are definitely not well comments of a person who's not like functioning at their peak, right? Let's say it like that. Right? So either they could use it as to say that somebody's not well, or that somebody's dangerous, or somebody just right. But time keep on coming into the future, right? They're trying to get a short-term plan. And we talked a lot about short-term unrest. I feel like I think that we already energetically know that we come out on top. There's already threats of Bannon said that the cubes should surround voter polls for security. So they'll be trying to stop every black and brown person. So long before that happens, there will be already a shift. And, sidebar. Did you guys notice? Did you guys, first off, did you see Bad Bunny accept his awards at the Grammys? And if you did, yes, you could see his joy, but you could also see his heaviness and his alertness. And if you're paying attention to what he wore, it really looks like he had a vest on. And I had already told y'all that that shit was going to be a problem. Right? And solely because best album and because he got picked for the Super Bowl. He hasn't said anything or done anything wrong. Just existing. And the system is going to want control. Okay? Authoritarianism against community thinking. But Uranus and Gemini wants revolutionary energy, and Neptune and Aries wants to fight against, Neptune and Aries wants to fight against restrictions being put, like unfair or unjustly, or lies, right? Us wanting to come under from that, right? So there is all of that. Right? So these are just signs to us to pay attention of how much the energy is showing us showing us what the problem or where the problem, like really pay attention to how you feel and where it's resonating, okay? Because I feel like by the end of February, we start to see a shift, okay? Let me just, before I throw any cards, let's just see if we see anything, because I haven't checked in hours. I was kind of busy with my mom today. Stop that. I hate when you go to touch the phone and then an alert comes up and it takes you to that alert instead of what you were trying to do. Good. Supposedly Trump administration is supposed to take 700 cube people away from Minnesota. He's trying to take over certain elections. Okay, so, all right. We're going to take a look. Let's get a general real quick. Because I really want to know if Epi's still around. I know that we had a conversation and I was like, it wouldn't have been self, right? Shit is weird. Okay. 29, Nana Baluku. She rests to create. And, you know, we've been talking about, look, and I opened the book to it and I didn't even, oh, so weird. Okay. Your energy is precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance, amplify, and replenish it. Give yourself sufficient rest, and you shall find the way forward more effortless. Explore the lifestyle that grows your inner resources rather than requiring constant exertion and exhaustion to accomplish an endless list of external pursuits. You need this shift in being now because you are ready to accomplish more. For this to take place, there needs to be less effort and more wisdom. Trust and value what can be achieved through rest, right? And it's funny because collectively, you know, I think women of color have been sitting it out, right? Yeah, for different reasons, but I would say that, you know, our African American women have been sitting it out because all struggles have been built on their back. I feel like a lot of Latino women have been sitting it out because it's uber dangerous for them right now. I just saw this one woman, actually two different stories, but I saw one woman getting ripped out of her car. She was screaming she was a U.S. citizen. I saw another woman who was testifying about being ripped out of her vehicle, and she was disabled. She said that she had gotten a concussion and she woke up in a detention center, and she's a disabled woman with a brain injury. So, you know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of consequences, but I feel like Spirit is basically telling us that we are being cared for. Like I said, let's get some tarot. Well, let's see what the blockage is going to be. What can we expect now moving forward in regards to this Uranus going direct up until the time that it goes into Gemini? Can you show us what the challenge is? Great fortune. Message of concern. Pathway. Marriage. Official person, mature woman. Change. Adjudication, sudden wealth. Community. Okay. I feel like they was going the angle. Watch out for this coming. They was going the angle of we're going to penalize single women. $17,000 is going to become that is unconstitutional. Right? So they're going to go a different route. I feel like they're going to try to give out money, but only to married people, or only, right? Kind of like they said, if you have a baby, we'll give you a check. Right? Also, the cube people are saying they ain't get their bonuses. They're not getting their insurance. And so they signed their life away. And now they're out here in these streets and they're not getting what was promised to them. And, you know, they're getting outed about their names, especially the ones that, you know, were involved in those situations. Yeah, those names are out. So, you know, meet me at the hood. It's going down. Like, you can't go home. Oh, no. Oh, no, señor. No se puede. Absolutely not. I know you ain't. I know you's a fucking lie. Okay? What? Listen. Great fortune. Message of concern. Pathway. Marriage. Official person. And mature woman. Son, hold on. I feel like they want to reward married couples since they can't punish single individuals. Okay, I also heard, what's good, Chance? I also heard that there was a all of this is you're gonna see the pendulum swing back the other way. But I also heard recently that they have been, and you know, I got an alert myself, and my shit is good. Lowering credit limits of women. Understand, ladies, that women couldn't even get bank accounts or credit cards without a spouse's permission, I think, till like 1974. So we ain't even had this freedom that long, okay? The moon at the bottom of the deck. We about to see, but I feel like the divine feminine frequency is going to have the last say in this. You're going to see that the masculines that thrive in this new timeline will be masculines that are in touch with their divine feminine and who have healed their divine masculine. Okay? That's going to be, listen, those men that have taken up that path, they're going to be worth their weight in gold, okay? Now, here's the thing. They're not the ones that get to say that they've done that, though. It's their peers that get to say that. It's the women in their lives that get to judge that. Right? Pathway. We have here 3 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Wands, 8, 8, 2 of Pentacles, choice. It's portal, spirit. Hope and faith, cross, courts are limited and split. Spirit, can you show me? King of Cups, 7 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, and the Sun. Let's get through them. 4 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The whole system needs to be healed. We're talking about not just from now. We're talking about from inception. And the original sin. And some people would say that's when boats came. And I would say that the removal of the divine feminine from the Trinity is the original sin. Then the boats. You follow what I'm saying? Spirit just said a mouthful. Spirit said that the boats happened because there was the removal of the divine feminine. That was the unseating, or led to the unseating of the great civilizations was the unseating of the divine feminine. Mami Wata. Ace of Knives. Truth. 3 of Wands. Comes out with the 5 of Knives, right? Look at her getting her lick back. Right? I don't know how much you guys have been diving into the 3 million documents that were released, but one of them alludes to a particular individual with funny hair who has a fetish and sometimes likes to eat them, and compared some kitty cats, little ones, like Gypsy, very little, and how it tastes like cream cheese. There's a lot in there. Because they're so little and so tender. And it's very disturbing. Okay. We have here the 8 of Cups comes out, right? This is walking away. This is the dark night of the soul. This is collective. I also feel like situation could arise. And in this situation, there's a power change, but it doesn't go off without a hitch. And how they need to gain control. And in that, there might not be actual power or lights. Three of Coins, people not working together or not knowing who is in resonance with what teams and if teams or situations will hold because of an event. Okay. And are we strong enough as a union? Four of Cups, do people have the desire to work together? I feel like that could be a few days that happens. Like, are you understanding what I'm saying? Eight of Wands, until communication would be established. Father of Sticks, somebody comes out on top with Four of Knives with the tone and tenor of healing a nation. Giving the news, hey, this has happened. They may even try to prep. And maybe that's not an actual blackout. Maybe that's a news blackout. Okay. Two of Pentacles. This plate and that plate have the same fucking thing. Brought to you by Spirit, Justice, and the Three of Sticks. And so these are very wealthy individuals who are in the back, always trying to control and, Geppetto the strings. And the working man carries the burden on his back. But there's going to be decisions this time. And that system is falling. And the Hierophant, hope, faith, the court, Spirit. What's this? Show me. With Big Mama. Ain't nobody but me better. Something is out. Something is being exposed. And certain people aren't at liberty. Like the team of 9 made a judgment against so-and-so today by allowing Callie's what's good, Jennifer? By allowing Callie's redistricting to go through. Check it out. With no dissent. So you mean to tell me that Clarence Thomas didn't have shit to say about that? I wonder why. Could it be that allegedly he's in the files with a 4-year-old? And didn't I fucking say while I was still in Ohio that his partner, old girl, was going to get him into some shit because she do too much and she talked too much and she was pushing for a particular agenda. I was going to put him in the crosshairs because he got his own skeletons. And boom. King of Cups. And now he's probably like very worried. What's good, Rose? That he doesn't appear like he's in cahoots because now he, no dissent. What? No dissent. That's weird. Right? Oh, is it because time is running short and the ancestors' death and transformation is coming around and you're concerned about somebody's mental health and you're worried that, it could come back and that time is running out and then what? Then who's sorry now? Right? So they want to keep a little anonymity like, shit, this ain't going to work out, right? Yeah. 7 of Cups, 4 of Baskets, 5 of Baskets. Seven of Cups, Father of Baskets, Five of Baskets. Yeah. And that none of these people really want to stay holding the bag after this shit. So understand that this Uranus change in chaos, what's going to happen is we're going to see a departure from particular stances because, the situation's going down. Now, they may rejoin number two if number two can find a way to keep his sea legs while the ship goes down. Yeah, they would do that. Let's not kid ourselves about that. He, number two, will be the one to make announcements about outer life. Because he would do anything. I would do anything for love, right? And he's going to have to endear himself to anyone that he can. Okay? So if he can change the narrative by saying he's the one that announced that there was life outside of, right? If he could announce things that make people interested, programs, he's going to do it. Even if he turns around to only undermine and do whatever he's going to do anyway, but his whole thing is going to be trying to come in. And Spirit said that he's not the one we have to worry about. And it may be who's down here running later. Because that could be where they, meet in the middle. Well, the whole group of them is contaminated. But who moves like them, but without all of that much scandal? Alligator Alcatraz guy. They need the same flavor, less calories. You know what I'm saying? Same flavor, less calories. That's what they're trying to do. Listen, there's a lot of opportunities as the world is changing its direction. Those, I keep saying it to you since the last year, those who stay ahead of Saturn, use your money wisely, stay on top of situations, handle your handle. Right? Those people are going to be able to change their financial trajectory. Okay? By 2028. The seeds that you will plant now by 2028 can bring much change. And if you do it right, it won't cycle away from you this time. Okay? But it's going to be a little scary. Okay? Knight of Cups. Ace of Knives. And the Magician in reverse. So this is not about being sneaky. This is about being humble, being true, and working hard, minding your business, drinking your water, right? Making smart decisions, right? That's what's going to get us over the hump. Okay? Time is on our side. Yes, it is. Okay, that's the King of Swords. Do you see all those clocks in there? It's like been collecting clocks or fucking timelines and rigging the game. right? Then we have Sun, Spirit Way. Two of Coins, the Father of Sims, and the 10 of fucking Coins. There's a misstep by them that's coming, okay? Temperance, but it's the healing and the reunification of like the soul, okay? That is going to lead to generational wealth and the healing of the families, restoration, although it's going to come as a surprise. Opportunities, okay? But these opportunities, they come with some hard work. And it may be a different kind of hard work than what we understand to be hard work. Right? So, you could be working 10-hour days right now. Everybody ends up in a situation where they're not working, whatever. Now you, for however this comes to be, are growing food. Inside, outside, doesn't matter. Now you spend 5 hours a day, less than what you did before. But you might find it's more intense, maybe not more laborsome. It feels like more natural, more outside, more in purpose, more in alignment with the Divine Mother. And that's what's coming. Okay? And I think I'm going to leave that there. I feel like there's some healing that all of us, male and female, are going to be going through it with our divine masculine energy, okay, for new beginnings, okay? And we're going to be trying a lot of new things, okay? This is going to heal a lot of our, past traumas. And it could feel traumatizing while we're in it, but it's really going to heal us because it's going to force us to take new opportunities or try new things. And we're going to build real wealth this time, okay, with the star. And it has very much to do with community. Okay, you might find like on a strip, there might be, people starting to, well, I have eggplant, well, I have cucumbers, right? And people could start trading, bartering, that kind of thing. Yeah. We still are going to have to be careful of individuals who pledge allegiance out of necessity. They're the most dangerous ones. Okay, that's what I have. I'm going to leave that there. Tomorrow, excuse me. Tomorrow, we will have a session for the Patreon gang. And we will talk about the upcoming eclipse. I will put up something about it for the general public. Should you guys decide you want to join, it's not going to be anything big. There'll be a video about that. It's coming soon. All right, guys. I'm wishing you light and love and blessings on blessings. Bye.